Hey guys, and thanks for joining me again on another video. Well, it's almost a year to the day that I started this YouTube channel, and way back then I just bought a guitar on eBay sight unseen, which is this Gibson SG, and it arrived with a few problems and I posted a video about that. So this week, a year on, I'm going to tell you 5 things I know about my Gibson SG. Well, the first thing I can tell you about this SG is it's a limited edition Jeff Tweedy signature SG, and originally they were down to make 500 of these guitars, but they actually stopped after the first run of 300, and apparently, according to forums, that's because Jeff Tweedy was unhappy with the quality of the guitar and actually put a stop to them. And to be honest, when this guitar arrived and it was second-hand off eBay, it was in a pretty sorry state setup-wise, and I think that may have been the issue, possibly for Jeff Tweedy. And the main problem with it was the vibrola here, and basically it had next to no break angle across the bridge, and the action was very high. And in fact, when I first got it out of its case, I actually feared maybe it was a full neck reset to get the guitar back in order, but Brendan managed to put some shims under the vibrola here and lifted it up and get some break angle in it. So that kind of fixed that issue. But since I've had this guitar for a year, the vibrola is still really an issue for this guitar, and it is very unstable tuning wise. And for that reason, I was very close to actually selling this guitar. Well, the second thing I can tell you about my Gibson SG is that after 10 months of owning it, I had it up for sale recently. The tuning issues really kind of got me down with the guitar in the end, and I used to go to rehearsal with friends, finish a song, and the guitar would just be all over the shop, and that's even without using the vibrola. So I decided to get rid of it, and I thought I'd buy a Gibson Les Paul, probably an R9, and I thought I'll take the guitar home over Easter because I probably won't be playing it again. And funnily enough, I fell in love with it, and especially this guitar neck. So this Tweedy SG is a remake of a 61, and it's got a beautiful wide Spacious neck on it. Makes it really easy to play, and also when you finger pick, there's plenty of room on it. Nice rosewood fretboard, and also a quarter sawn neck, which is great too because a lot of SGs actually have headstock brakes, so the quarter sawn makes it a stronger neck. And it was after Easter that I started to actually rethink my decision to sell it, and I withdrew it for sale, and I've been playing it a lot since and have really started to fall in love with the guitar again. So while I took the SG home over Easter and was playing it, I was doing some recording for electronic collaboration that I'm doing, and doing a lot of ambient guitar stuff. And I noticed actually with this guitar, with these Burstbucker 1 pickups, that they actually clean up really nicely. And they're also incredibly quiet. So what I've noticed with my Jazzmaster that I've done recently is that it's actually not really applicable for sort of ambient electronic music, because you can really hear that kind of cycle hum of the pickups, where the humbuckers in this guitar actually clean up beautifully. And it actually is a very versatile sounding guitar, so you can wind it up for that signature bark and bite, SG bite, but it actually cleans up really nicely. So I'm a big fan of these Burstbucker 1 pickups. Well, there's no secret in the fact that us Aussies are actually pretty fond of SGs. I'm only going to mention one name, Angus, and I think you know what I'm talking about. And I've always had a soft spot for these guitars, going back to the early days of watching him on Countdown, which was our music show here in Australia in the 70s, in his school uniform playing his SG. But even further back than that, obviously George Harrison playing his on the Revolver album. And when you hear the Rifter and Your Bird Can Sing and Dr. Robert, it really does just have that signature growl and bite of an SG, which I think everyone is kind of fond of and loves. And it was the look of this guitar that really attracted me. It's this beautiful blue mist colour. It's a custom colour that was designed for Jeff Tweedy, a little bit darker than Pelham Blue. And it's a beautiful guitar. It's certainly not a flyweight for an SG. This weighs in at 7.4 pounds, so it's actually a fairly kind of robust SG, and it picks up like that. But it's also very well balanced. It's not neck heavy at all, so the vibrola seems to add a nice balance to the guitar where it will sit on a strap or on your lap very comfortably. And for that reason, it's a really comfortable guitar to play. So my Gibson SG is a year old, and the verdict is it actually is a keeper. So despite the fact it was up for sale on eBay recently, I've decided to keep the guitar. It was really that Easter weekend that I actually really grew to love this guitar, and despite the fact it's quite temperamental, and especially still with its tuning, despite the fact I put heavier gauge strings on it, but I'm going to persist with it. I'm going to try and get to the bottom of these tuning issues. I think the culprit personally is this vibrola on the back. I just don't think this was actually put on properly. I think if you're going to buy this type of guitar with a vibrola, I think it needs the kind of attention that would come out of Gibson Custom Shop, and this wasn't a custom shop guitar. So I think I'm going to put a stop tail on this and actually get it modified like a Derek Trucks model. So I'll keep the plate on there for the looks, but actually put a stop tail on there. So I'm looking at Tone Pros, and I'm also looking at pigtail stop tails here. So if anyone's got any information or some advice on the way to go with an SG and actually getting to the bottom of the tuning issues, I'd really love to hear from you. Please leave your comments in the comments section, and I look forward to seeing you on another video really soon.